Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Expressive Tone TV, conveying your thoughts and feelings to the world. Guys, criminality has been legalized in Nigeria. Yes, I say so because if with all the evidences that was placed before the tribunal, before the court of appeals, and they say they could not see anything wrong with this 2023 election that was done before our very eyes, they didn't see anything to hold against Tinubu. After all the evidences against him, criminality has been legalized. Yes, so if you are not a criminal, you cannot contest election and win in Nigeria anymore. Anyway, please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, do, because I'm not in the mood to talk much now. Subscribe, like the video, press the notification bell so that you will be the first to see my videos whenever I drop them. I'm going to leave you to watch the videos, and I will see you in my next video. Cheers. Watch videos.
Going by all the arguments that the presidential election petition judges made while withdrawing the petition of the Labour Party, it means that to prove an election malpractice or rigging in an election as wide as a presidential election will be impossible. Because looking at all the documents, they are saying that they must tender in evidence. That means that the 21 days allowed for someone to file a petition immediately the results are announced, that person can't even compile all the evidence. Yes, we have more than 177,000 polling units in Nigeria. So imagine the kind of work a petitioner is expected to make. Because when you compare how massive the rigging was during the election, imagine someone trying to prove that there were malpractices in about 100,000 polling units. Let's even say 50,000 polling units. The judges are expecting the petitioners to tender all these polling units one by one, prove them, even as far as calling witnesses in any of these polling units. Is not practicable. It's a flawed system that does not reward good deeds. If you're a nice person, if you're a gentleman and truthful and obey the laws, the system is stacked against the person. That's what it means. Going by the rulings they made today, that means they are rewarding people who are aggressive, lawless, people who can go to any length to acquire power. So it's just disappointing that the law failed Nigerians today. And when people openly call for a military coup, it means there's a problem. There is a huge sense of injustice. There's also a huge sense of miscarriage of justice today. Imagine a judge using words like fallacious, ridiculous, nullity, and many other words that he used to describe the Labour Party's and PDP's petition. He sounded very much like Wule Olanipeku and the defendants. If you watched all the proceedings when they made their arguments, they were openly threatening the petitioners and even the judges. He very much sounded like them today. On the other hand, the judgment they delivered today can be best described by these words he used. They practically rewrote Nigeria's constitution. Imagine saying that the FCT is equivalent to another state in Nigeria. Going by that logic, that means that every candidate must score 25% of the total votes in all the states, including FCT. Because no state should be different from the other. Yes, going by their argument that no state should be special, that FCT is not special, that means a candidate must score 25% in every state in order to make everyone equal. Since they are trying to ascribe a special status to Abuja, and they are saying no, it shouldn't be so, that it shouldn't have a special status. That means 25% must be scored everywhere to give everyone equal status. Yes, that's the logic. But it's very obvious that this is not the intention of the drafters. The English is in plain language. The greatest proof is the fact that it's not required to score 25% of the total votes in FCT in the second runoff election. It is also very surprising that the justices held that double nomination or invalid nomination of Tinubu cannot disqualify a candidate, that it is not among the conditions listed on Section 131 of the 1999 Constitution. It depends on how they made their own interpretation, but when you look at Section 131C, you will see where it says sponsored by a political party. So if one proves that the candidacy of a contestant in a presidential election was invalid as at the time he contested the election, that means he wasn't sponsored by a political party. These lines are written in English. Why are these people twisting it to suit a particular narrative? It's a very disappointing outcome considering the impact of this presidential election. How can the judges discountenance all the evidence? Imagine expunging 10 witnesses from Labour Party's entire 13 witnesses because they didn't file them early, that their witness statement was not front-loaded with the petition. Also, it doesn't make sense that INEC will just create IREV for the citizens without needing it. If it's truly not a part of the collation system, why did INEC create the IREV in the first place? They are trying to say that there's nowhere in the constitution or electoral law that it mentions that results must be uploaded, whether in figure form or snapping of the result sheets themselves. The regulation the judge cited, Regulation 92 of the INEC guidelines, looking at these sections, you will see that it is talking about collated results, not polling unit results. INEC guideline says that they should snap the polling unit result sheet with the Beavers machine and upload it to the IREV immediately after vote counting. That's what their guideline says. But the judge read a section that talked about collated results. Polling unit results are not collated. It is polling unit results that will go to the Ward Collation Center where the collation will be done for that ward before they move to the next collation center, which is the local government collation center, before they get to the state and up to Abuja. So it's very strange that the judges, instead of talking about polling unit results, they now moved it to collated results, thereby making polling unit results irrelevant. The essence of the IREV is to upload the results there so that they can protect the integrity of the votes. Because before getting to the collation center, anything can happen to the results. It was created to preserve that integrity of the will of the people. But now the judges have joined the politicians. Remember, the APC people claimed this immediately after the election, that IREV was not needed, that they went to the next collation center and collected the results, which was exactly what they said in court. Yes, and the judges now have joined them and said, yes, it's true, that IREV was just created for citizens to observe the results. It sounds very, very strange. Why will INEC waste money to maintain IREV just for people to observe? The court is saying that IREV is not part of a collation system. Yes, nobody is arguing that they need to transmit the figures, like punching the figures to INEC collation center. Nobody is arguing that. They are just saying that you have to snap that physical copy, upload it, so that the collation agent will verify the hard copy you bring to a collation center. It's as simple as that. Another strange argument the judges made today was when they were referring to the number of witnesses the petitioners called, that they only called, was it 2 or 3 witnesses that were actually from polling units. But the law specifically says in section 137 that it is not necessary to call oral witnesses when you are dealing with certified true copies, which was exactly what the petitioners relied on. All the documents they brought to court were certified by INEC. So no need calling oral witnesses according to the law. It is there in the section, but why did they now throw everything away? It's very evident that they went fishing for technicalities just to free Tinubu from all the baggages. Look at all the acrobatics. They turned the law upside down just to exonerate one man. How can the judges rely on procedural errors to withdraw the petition? This is very strange.
That is why subsection 2 of section 142 mandates that the requirements of qualification and disqualification attaching to the occupier of seat of president also applies to the holder of the office of vice president. It is therefore my view that section 142, subsection 1 of the Constitution does not introduce the issue of nomination or sponsorship of vice president so as to enlarge the scope of qualifications or disqualifications applicable to the seat of president. There cannot therefore be a disqualifying factor of a candidate for the office of president outside those specified in section 131 and 137 of the Constitution. It can safely be said that those provisions have sufficiently and conclusively covered the field until there is an amendment to the Constitution.